I'd made a video on the Tetras workout for beginners, then figured it was too complicated and made it even simpler, but I still received comments informing me it wasn't easy to understand. So this time around, I'm going to reduce the Tetras to the base minimum and make it so that you can begin with nothing but a single exercise. For those who are new, the Tetras is a 4-day exercise plan that was used by ancient Greek athletes, as its cyclical design makes for a comprehensive workout that promotes steady progression and consistency. I have several videos on how the Tetras works, like this push and pull routine among many others. Now before I get into this, I should specify that this is designed either for absolute beginners or for those who haven't worked out in a long time and need to get back into it slowly. However, it can potentially work for someone moderate or even advanced who wants to learn a new progression or even a combat sport technique as an added section of their already in progress workout routine. But that will need a video of its own, so for the purpose of this one, I will focus solely on beginners, but you can still try it out or experiment with it if you're more advanced. So what are the benefits of this One-Exercise Tetras? First and foremost, it's a safe way to start an exercise routine. It's based on slow and steady progression, promoting consistency over ego lifting. Of course, any physical activity carries the risk of injury, but the goal is to minimize the risk to the lowest possible extent. The workout is incredibly simple. It's just a single exercise that you can do any time of the day, in the morning, in the evening, even during a 5 to 10 minute break. It teaches you the fundamentals of the Tetras from day one. That means integrating a proper warm-up and a proper cooldown, which are essential for exercising in general. It also puts you in a cycle, a no excuse method of beginning a workout and maintaining consistency through following a 4-day routine that results in an achievement each and every time it's completed. After accomplishing the initial goal, you can add an additional exercise and slowly reach a point where you can practice more complex Tetras workouts or even make your own on a daily basis. Now, the most important step in creating the plan is choosing the exercise that we're going to be using. Let's divide the criteria into the absolutely necessary and the ideal. For the necessary, the exercise must be compound. That is, it should target multiple muscle groups. The more, the better. It must have multiple steps of progression. And to be fair, most, if not all exercises do if you're crafty enough. But you need to know the progressions beforehand so you can plan them out starting on day one. You also need to set a goal so that after you reach it, you can move on to add more exercises to your routine. Now the ideal. Calisthenics or bodyweight exercises are great because they allow for slow progression and will build significant mobility, strength, and core stabilization as you progress. Number 2 is a push or pull exercise would be best because that way when you outgrow the first exercise, you can pair it with a second one that will complement it. This way you can begin a new, more comprehensive push and pull Tetras and grow from there, adding leg exercises, plyometrics, and so forth. I'll show you exactly what this progression will look like later in the video. Okay, so for the example of creating this Tetras, let's choose for our one exercise the push-up. And let's say that your goal is to be able to do 2 full sets of 6 to 10 push-ups with perfect form. That means a hollow body posture, hands on the ground, chest as low as you can, and a steady lift without breaking the alignment of your back. So what are the progressions that will lead us to this final goal? The first would be leaning against a wall or another tall surface and making sure you have the proper posterior pelvic tilt, dip as close to the surface as possible, and return to the initial position without breaking your back's alignment. Repeat this for a progressively lower surface until the final progression where your hands are on the floor and your body essentially is parallel to the ground. Of course, there are many further progressions to the push-ups, like the deficit push-up, the archer push-up, or the more explosive clap push-up, Superman push-up, and so on. You can make these your ultimate goal, but for a beginner it's best to just reach the normal push-up and then add another exercise to create a more balanced workout, and then you can add more progressions. Throughout every day of the cycle, what will be constant are the warm-up and cooldown periods. For the warm-up, we keep it super simple. 20 joint rotations clockwise and 20 joint rotations counterclockwise. Ankles, knees, hips, wrists, elbows, shoulders, and neck. This will only take a couple of minutes and is crucial to avoid injury and to execute the exercise properly. If you can add massage to any muscle groups that you will be engaging the most, like the shoulder, chest, etc., and breathing exercises, then all the better, but just joint rotations can suffice. And then the cooldown. After the exercise, just incorporate some light movements, even if that only entails joint rotations or going for a walk. I'd say that walking, especially long walks that include hills or steps, is optimal for beginners, both as a cooldown and as a supplementary workout. Again, if you can fit stretching and or breathing exercises here, all the better. But it can work with just a walk or light movements like joint rotations, shadow boxing, dancing movements, etc. Now let's begin planning out the tetras. Normally, each day has an intensity level from 25 to 100%. Of course, we didn't have these percentages in ancient texts. Instead, we have a different theme for each day. The 4 themes are warm-up, max effort, cooldown, and technique. And this is the order in which the days appear in Philostratus. However, for this one-exercise tetras, we will begin with the day dedicated to technique. Day 1. After the warm-up, do the progression of the exercise that's right for you without counting the repetitions. You should only be able to do a few. If when you're doing reps you aren't exerting any effort, then progress a bit more. What you want to focus on here is to ensure that your posture is 100% proper and correct. Day 2. This day we will not be doing the exercise, instead you want your body to recover, and so we do a form of aerobic exercise. Again, this could just be going on a walk or a hike, cycling, dancing, shadow boxing, bag work, anything that will keep you active at least for an hour or so. Day 3. After the warm-up, you want to try doing the exercise at the same progression level of day 1 with the same proper form. But this time, do 1 to 2 sets of at least 4 to 6 repetitions. If after the first set, 6 repetitions seems too easy, progress the exercise slightly for the second set. Day 4. This is a cooldown day, but you want to stay active. This means again, aerobic exercise just less than on day 2. A simple brisk walk, the warm-up of joint rotations could suffice for beginners. If soreness still lingers after day 4 and you cannot perform the exercise on the following day, don't worry. Just repeat day 4 until you fully recover and then start with day 1 again. Each time you repeat the 4-day cycle, you progress more and more until you reach the desired goal, which is to perform proper push-ups in perfect form. You can also add progressions for the aerobic exercises on day 2 and 4, but this isn't mandatory for beginners, at least until you outgrow the one-exercise tetras. When you do, you can now add an additional exercise. Since we went for push-ups, now we can add pull-ups. So on day 2 and 4, continue to do 2 to 4 sets of 6 to 10 repetitions of push-ups, but now you can add pull-up progressions for day 1 and 3. Start with body rows, move on to seated pull-ups until you reach the full pull-up. When you can accomplish both, you can confidently move on to a full tetras workout, which you can find again on my Ko-Fi or Patreon. In fact, joining Patreon right now is a great deal because not only do you get the new Pankration lectures and exercise presentations, you also get a fully planned tetras workout and a 4-day nutritional plan each month. You'll also be helping me, of course, in keeping the channel alive. If I reach 1,000 EU a month, I'll also be able to work full-time on writing the book on Pankration and see if I can get it published when it's done. Until next time, cheers.